Hello, listeners. This is Kat, and welcome back to Put Your Hands Up Podfic. This will be the continuation of An Attempt to Fly Under the Radar. This will be Part 5, Chapter 6, entitled Parallels. Time seemed to have stopped, save for two things. Bakugo staggering back from the force of the blow, and Todoroki giving the boy no time to recover as he grabbed him by the wrist with an icy hand and dragged him out to the courtyard. Though the two boys moved fast, Izuku caught sight of the blood running down Bakugo's face, coloring both his shirt and the floor behind him. "What the fuck, Icy Hot? My nose!" Bakugo screamed as the two-toned boy shoved him away, only to tackle him down to the ground seconds later. Given how flabbergasting this turn of events was, everyone sat in shocked silence before scrambling to action. While Ida ran out of the dorms with a loud, "I'm getting Mr. Aizawa. This is most unbecoming of heroes in training," others quietly detached themselves from the situation and sneaked back upstairs, muttering about not wanting to be caught in the crossfire when Mr. Aizawa arrived. Izuku was still recovering from the shock that someone actually stood up for him, that someone actually put themselves in front of Bakugo to protect him. Why would anyone protect him? Because you're a good person. Was he worth protecting? Obviously. Look at how pissed off Todoroki is. Kaminari and Kirishima immediately glued their noses to the window, eagerly providing their own commentary on the fight. "Who do you think will win? My money's on Bakugo," Kirishima said excitedly, watching the boy in question have his explosions nullified by Todoroki's ice. "Are you kidding?" Kaminari incredulously asked, as the boy delivered a nasty right hook to Bakugo's jaw. "With how feral Todoroki's gone right now, I'm betting on him." He fished some money out of his pocket. 5,000 yen? "You're on." Izuku and Bakugo weren't alone in the dorms anymore. Todoroki had been given a week of house arrest along with 2 months' worth of detentions, but he didn't seem to care in the slightest, as he helped clean the dorms. He even set up a schedule of sorts for him and Izuku. After getting done with the morning cleaning, the two would study together before repeating the routine in the afternoon. He barely left Izuku's side, making himself a barrier against the battered and bandaged Bakugo, who shot the pair of venom-filled glares from across the room but didn't dare say anything. The fight had left him with a broken nose and 3 broken ribs, while Todoroki had walked away with some minor scrapes and bruises on his face and hands. That had to have hurt his pride. From what he told Izuku that morning, he hadn't uttered a word as to why he attacked Bakugo the way he did. Instead, he settled for giving Mr. Aizawa an impassive stare as the older man glared at him, trying to pry an answer from him. "Bakugo said I did it because I was yelling at you for slacking off on the cleaning," Todoroki said as they went over the physics chapter they were being tested over. "Ida told him what really happened, but I don't think that Mr. Aizawa cares for the truth when it comes to you two. He was very adamant in how disappointed he was in Bakugo for being involved in 2 fights in 1 week. Something about his potential being squandered over another temper tantrum." Izuku bristled under that last comment. It really was funny how someone like Mr. Aizawa, who prided himself on how rational and logical he was, seemed to be willfully ignoring just how angry, awful Bakugo was. Izuku was the problem child who had the nerve to be quirkless and not have instant control of his recently manifested quirk. But Bakugo nearly killing or assaulting someone was just a temper tantrum. Bakugo was clearly the common denominator in both instances, yet the green-haired boy knew that somehow the blame would be pinned on him. It was funny how that worked. It really wasn't. It was messed up and wrong. "What did he say about you?" Izuku asked as he finished his notes. Todoroki shook his head. "He didn't say much. He just kept asking me why I did it, as if he didn't really know. If he can't see what's obviously in front of him, we shouldn't be the ones to point it out to him. Ida already explained everything to him on the way over here last night, so it's up to him to do what he wants with that information." Izuku nodded his head, setting his pencil down. Was it nice to have a friend here with him? Yes. Did he wish it was under better circumstances? Also yes. "I'm sorry you got in trouble because of me, Todoroki," the green-haired boy quietly apologized. If he was going to be blamed for the incident down the line, he might as well run some preemptive damage control. "Why are you apologizing, Midoriya? Don't friends stand up for each other?" Izuku blinked and looked at Todoroki, who seemed to be genuinely confused. Whether that was due to his self-admitted lack of social skills, or the fact that he thought Izuku did nothing wrong, was up in the air. I was the one who chose to fight Bakugo, and I don't regret doing it at all, Todoroki went on. I've told you before about Endeavor, and when he charged you the way he did, I had to do something to protect you. His voice was incredibly strained, and Izuku immediately knew what he was talking about. The night his mother would be beaten black and blue, he and his older siblings helpless to protect her or themselves. Bakugo no doubt must have reawakened those ugly memories by the way he was acting towards him. What does that say about Bakugo as a person? The haunted expression on Todoroki's face was one Izuku never wanted to see again, so he reached out gently and squeezed his hand, rubbing his thumb in his palm. Todoroki, I'm sorry, he whispered. I know that doesn't make it any better or erase what you've been through, but I'm sorry. The two-toned boy nodded, looking slightly better than he had a few seconds ago. It's nothing you did, Midoriya, he said. It just comes down to Endeavor using his power to hurt the people around him. It's the same with Bakugo. The infuriating thing about it all is that because of their quirks and their overall status, people turn a blind eye to it. It was. They do. It was. They do. It was. They do. How would he not notice the parallels? He wasn't sure if Bakugo would ever go down the route of eugenics, but no wonder Todoroki never liked him. No wonder he seemed so dismissive of Mr. Aizawa and the people around them who turned a blind eye to Bakugo's actions. He had Endeavor at home, and a mini Endeavor at school. That must have been hell on earth for him. Regardless, I think Bakugo will be leaving you alone after what happened yesterday, Todoroki said suddenly, giving Izuku's hand a squeeze before getting back to their physics schoolwork. But if he tries to hurt you again, I'll hit him with our math textbook. Izuku knew he shouldn't, but he immediately burst into a fit of laughter, muffling it with his hand so no one else could hear. Todoroki, you can't say that, he pleaded through his giggling. You're lucky Mr. Aizawa isn't around to hear that. Todoroki gave a shrug, though a small smile played on the corner of his lips. Well, Bakugo shouldn't treat you the way he does, but look where that's gotten him. It took a few minutes for Izuku's laughter to die down, but when it did, he felt better than he had in days. He felt a new lease on life as he caught his breath and gave Todoroki a grateful smile. Thanks, Todoroki. I'm your friend, Midoriya. Friends don't thank each other for doing the bare minimum. All right, listeners, this concludes Chapter 6 of An Attempt to Fly Under the Radar. Chapter 7 will be up next. I hope you all are still enjoying this one. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this, and I love the fact that Todoroki is such a good friend to Izuku in this one. Despite the lack of social skills, he's still the one that stands up and helps Izuku out. So let me know your thoughts and reactions to this chapter as well. And as always, thank you all so much for listening.